Look, we're stuck in the system, we can't get out. It's time for a change, stop running your mouth. I'm looking for words, but I can't get it out. Look for the light, but the sun blotted out.
Hold on, let me hop on the beat. Cause social injustice and prisoner mindset is something we gotta defeat. We idle these hoes and wear all these clothes with shoes that can't be creased. Steady looking for substance and change, but we searching all up in these streets.
Got a stain on my shirt that I can't get out. My people on high like the top of the mount. We thirsting for truth, but there's no spout. Look for a savior, but no one around.
But no one's around, but where do they look? It ain't in the church, it ain't in the book. We can't get a job, so we rather crook. They got us in chains, a fish on the hood.
Look, harvesting not bodies, harvesting not organs. Got 'em real big mad, cause they culture boring. Pimping the poor, Jim Crow at the door. Selling our souls, our daughters a whore. I wanna give in, can't take it no more. Don't wanna believe our people are more.
We swept our cup when we look at decline. We got a new bottle, it's filled with...
Hello, all my Malcolm make a chess move, or make a culture move people, my fault. Welcome to another Culture Move podcast where we cover everything from intense social topics to funny social trends. We're your host, Mark Jonathan.
G, and then we have special guest host, young activist in the building. Love
Absolutely.
when he comes and joins us.
Young, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, how y'all doing, y'all? Young guy, y'all can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, I got my headphones in, so. But yeah, young activist here, man. I'm ready to hear this conversation. How you the dialogue that our people need to hear. You feel me?
Absolutely. So before we get started, if we can have our brief disclaimer.
Yes, sir. So here at the MACultureM Podcast, we cover everything from social trends to, Black news and topics. And so, sometimes things we talk about can be a little controversy. And all we ask is that if something is said here makes you feel a type of way, think about that and evaluate your own self and why you feel some type of way, and then come and talk to us, and we'll love to talk about it. But with that being said, you feel me? We're going to do a quick little check-in before we get into this conversation. And we are keeping it local today. So we're talking about Denver news. But you feel me? Mark, check in with me. How you? Or I'm, our special guest first. You feel me? Yeah, check in with us. How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. First and foremost, all praises that I was able to wake up in the morning and get some stuff done. You feel me? But also, J. Cole came out with a song yesterday. I'm feeling it, and so I'm happy. I'm chilling out.
He's dropping an album on the 14th.
Yep.
Can't wait.
For real, I didn't even hear about that.
Oh yeah.
You sleep. That's what's going on, man.
What'd you say? Wake up?
Yeah, man.
I'm telling you.
You trying to be woke out here. You don't even know what's going on, man. No, I'm just...
I think I saw it on Instagram, but I just thought it was a single. But that's dope. He coming out with an album.
Yeah, man. That's my favorite rapper.
That's what's up. G, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. It's Friday. It's the weekend. I'm employed. I got money coming my way. So I feel good. I'm blessed to even be able to wake up and participate in the world and do my contribution to make it better if I can. So I'm feeling great. How you feeling, bro, Mark?
Alright, man, I can't complain. My hair getting longer. That's what I've been waiting for. My hair getting longer. I'm trying to tell you. But besides that, I'm blessed as always to see another day. Blessed as always to join on this podcast. So I'm ready to get started.
Let's get it.
Yeah, let's do it. So like G said, we are starting a little bit local today. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with the unfortunate circumstances of the Welton Street Cafe, Black owned. If you don't know, they used to be my neighbors over on 22nd. So, this is real touching my heart, man.
This is hitting home for the whole hood.
I'm saying.
This is honestly something I have been praying I didn't have to see ever happen for sure. Because the whole hood's being gentrified, but to see Welton leave is so heartbreaking. I ain't gonna lie.
For real, no doubt about it. But we're going to get into some more specifics on why exactly they're closing. Talk about what you said, mentioned a little bit earlier, gentrification, all that type of stuff. But we're going to go ahead and kick it off with Welton Street. And this is brought to us by the Denver Post. Give me one quick second here. All right, boom, boom, boom. So, jumping into it. 5 Points Welton Street Cafe may close soon. So owner says issues with the building are threatening to shut down the community gathering place. All right, so we're just going to jump into some more specifics. What is this? What just happened?
Why am I here?
My fault. All right.
Okay.
So, after more than 2 decades of serving customers in the 5 Points, the popular Welton Street Cafe is in danger of closing. So, restaurant co-owner of Fatima, I always mispronounce her name, but Dickerson, there we go. Dickerson said issues with the restaurant's building are threatening to shut down this community gathering place. Dickerson said their biggest issue is their HVAC system not functioning properly. So on a hot day, the temperature inside the kitchen can reach over 100 degrees, making it too hot to cook and impossible to remain open. If you would like to donate, the Welton Street Cafe, click here and select Save the Welton Street Cafe under the drop menu. And yeah, so the full story just gets into more details about, how long they've been open. And, we see right here why they're closing, but our founder, Philip Douglas, did a podcast on this, talking about how they reached out for a fundraiser, that type of stuff. And it's like we see all these other restaurants being like prosperous during this COVID time. Like it's up to us to keep our businesses up and running, because COVID took a toll on everybody, but it's hitting the Black businesses crazy. But how y'all think about that just in the first initial surface of it?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, in my personal opinion, this is clearly racial profiling. The reason I say that is because when you look at Middle Eastern corner stores, I never put AC in that tank. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Asian hair markets that are all up in our community. You never, feel no form of, real HVAC control in those environments. When it comes to these Black-owned businesses, they real fast to shut us down for something that could easily be obtainable, with proper grants or with proper donations that can be handled easily. This is a historical monument in the Denver metro area, but this just shows how modern day colonialization is still a thing. The white man taking land and taking things away from us hasn't stopped since they've been on this side of the globe in 1492. They've always taken away stuff from the Blacks. You know what I'm saying? And actually, if I look up this article too, in Texas, there was a land that was just recently taken away from a Hispanic-owned family. It was like 2 acres. They took it away to put an ICE immigration camp on that land in the entrance of the building. You know what I'm saying? They went to court and they took their land. So it just shows you modern colonialization is still a thing, and this is another example of it. They want to take this and put and whitewash it. But yeah.
I agree with young activists completely on that. It's something that we talked about in a podcast.
You know what I'm saying? They went
while ago we talked about
colonialization still a thing.
It's something. Who's playing it? Okay, thank you. We talked about a podcast a long time ago about how celebrities don't give back to the communities. They make all this money and yet they don't bring it back to the communities. And this is something that, like young activist said, can easily be fixed with donations and grants to keep Welton open, because it is a historical monument in the 5 Points area. And we're seeing the new white restaurants. They're prospering, they're doing good. We're not hearing any bad news about what's going on with them, and so I'm right there with young activists. It's definitely the modern day colonialization. Slow down there. But it's real. It's real, and they are trying to. I mean, they've already changed the name of the 5 Points District to the Rhino District, so that's already taken away our personalization, our identity, the Black identity of the East Side. They've taken away by changing the name of the 5 Points to the Rhino District. So that alone is showing that they're ready to get rid of everything else that goes along with it. And Welton has been standing strong through this gentrification for a long while. Like, they've been gentrifying the hood for a very long time now, and we'll get into it a little bit later. I got a map to show y'all, but I worked at Welton Street for a little bit, and they've been trying to close Welton for a long time. They've been trying to get rid of Welton for a long time. I worked at Welton when I came home from school, when I got kicked out of Grambling, and Fatima gave me an opportunity to put some money in my pocket. So Welton is home, it's heart, it's love, it's family. So yeah, this is something that absolutely it can be fixed with donation. And I know for a fact that the way I feel about Welton, so many other people feel about Welton too.
Absolutely. If you've ever, been to Welton Street, like behind their register, they got pictures of just loyal members and family that constantly come to the restaurant. Like, they show love. So it's important, not only with like the grants and, money being fundraised or however the case may be. It's important that we choose Welton Street over Wingstop or restaurants like Golden Corral, like that type of stuff. Constantly I hear, the pushback on that being like Black-owned businesses are super pricey, but that's for a reason. It's to keep their establishment up. If we were constantly going to them with our business, and whether it be building supplies, food, whatever the case may be, then we would start to see a decline in those prices. But because we're constantly choosing other restaurants over our Black businesses, that's just why there's some of that stuff is. But it's so just to add to that, it's not only grants being given to them, but it's showing loyalty. You feel me? Like, this is a family restaurant. They show love. It's important that we do the same.
I mean, to even take you back off that point, to be real with you, I think Welton Street Cafe as a whole is an amazing organization that can help out their people. What you got to also understand is that's self-respect for our community. We have no self-respect for each other.
Period.
I'll give you an example of that. You see a Gucci shirt for $150. We way faster to buy that than a Black-owned business T-shirt that's just as nice
for $25.
For $25,
we said that's too expensive.
We complain about $25 to support a Black-owned business, but jump at the first opportunity we have to buy a $400, $500 shirt, and it's crazy.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And you got to also put that into perspective too. That comes into self-respect and how we genuinely feel each other as like value. Because I mean, it's not really about the price range. Because at the end of the day, they say there's high-end, shopping, and then there's also low-end shopping. So that means high-end means it's going to be higher prices. We don't see ourselves as high-end quality people. We don't see ourselves as high tier in any way. Everything got to be low tier. If we ain't selling Family Dollar prices, even though we can't eat off that, if we ain't selling Family Dollar price, people ain't trying to hear what we got going on. So, it goes into self-value within the Black and brown communities as well. Are we really willing to truly spend a little bit extra bread to go into that establishment to make them feel more high-end? Because, I mean, they got 5-star restaurants with disgusting food. Literally.
Exactly. I will say that again. Right. Disgusting food.
Yeah,
disgusting.
Yeah, five-star restaurants with like foreign white people from Europe who be selling like scallops and all this weird disgusting
snails and stuff.
And stuff that's not necessarily as healthy for the Black body. You understand what I'm saying? And when we go in there, not only are we looked at funny, but then the price range is going to be something that skyrockets the value of the food that it's really not. But people going to go in there with suits. They're going to show the quality of the restaurant, even though the food might not be on that same level. But then we go to, a little Mexican spot, eat some burritos and all that. We say $10. This ain't worth $10. And we gonna be we willing to make a ruckus, you know what I'm saying? We feel like we being taxed up. We don't do that when we trying to live like the white man. And that just shows you how we try to envy our oppressors. We don't do that for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's real. That's just real. It's the identity that we're losing as a Black community. It's like we losing that identity, so we don't love each other, so we can't support each other, so we can't uplift each other, we can't put each other first. If we was constantly putting each other first, we'd be able to get further ahead in the race. We already far behind in the race. We already got to catch up in every aspect and area. So if we were to be helping each other get over these hurdles and cross these hardships and do it together as a team, as a unity, then we'd be able to get further and further and further along in the race. And eventually, because we are the superior race, we're going to catch up. Eventually, but we have to do it together. We're not gonna do it if we continue to disrespect each other. It's just a disrespect. It's a disrespect is what it is. We're disrespecting each other by not even supporting each other, by not being there for each other, by wanting to impress the white man so much. Why are we trying to impress the white man? For what? Why? It's too many of us out here trying to be Martin Luther King instead of Malcolm X. And it's way too many of us out here trying to be right. And not saying you feel Martin Luther King did his thing in his area, but what did he really do? What did he really do?
We still having the same conversations as
we're
they were
still having the
then.
Same conversations. It's still being repeated in even more negative ways and aspects, except it's less people being willing to die for it. We got to be willing to die for the cause of being Black.
Man, but it's like Young Activist was saying earlier, like in what you're talking about now, it's all a self-respect like type of thing. Because, we willing to make ourselves look the part in them white restaurants when they serve better food than the Black ones, but we push off their business because it's pricey. You feel me? But you go and spend that Red Lobster and I forget, is it escargot, them snails, whatever?
Hey, forget Red Lobster, forget the snails. You willing to spend $20 on some Newports in Chicago? Newports in Chicago is $20 a pack. So I'm saying, people willing to spend that bread when it comes to their addiction to satisfy their needs in order to cope with reality. People willing to People willing to go.
Let's relate it to, you feel me, and keep it, because the Newports in Denver are, you feel me, like 6-7, right? But then let's figure you go to the dispensary, you're gonna spend your $40 on the eighth for some good quality. You want the platinum shelf, you're gonna spend $60-$70 for an eighth, right? But you have a hard time putting that same money back into the community. When it comes to supporting each other, donating for one another, uplifting one another. You'll go and spend, right? Because at Good Chemistry right now, their ounces are going for about $200. You'll go and spend that, but you won't put that same efforts and money into buying back the community. And yet we love the hood. Yeah, we love the set. But we not gonna put that same money that we're spending on the Jordans and the weed and the crab leg and seafood boils that everybody's having every other day back into the Black community to buy. We talk about how much we love the East Side because we're so easty, and yet we're not doing anything to buy back our community. But y'all flashing the money and the stacks and the racks on your social media.
Exactly.
Man, because give it a few years, it ain't going to be the East Side no more. I've been here officially since I was like 10 years old. And
22.
when I tell you, like, I've seen more white people moving into the neighborhood and then more Black people having to leave the neighborhood, it's ridiculous. It's
Okay,
ridiculous.
look, that's a perfect segue. We're gonna get into let me see. The first one I want you to open up, Mark, is the first one. We'll go in order. I think this is
Okay.
the map. I want to show y'all this map about, you know, the gentrification in Denver or in Colorado as a whole, but specifically Denver.
And while I'm
And
pulling this up, y'all, just a quick little update for how we're going to be operating now. We are doing 30-minute podcasts. Still going to be doing Monday and Fridays. We are unclear on the time as of right now, but just look out for that. We're only going to be up for 30 minutes, just to keep the content short and sweet, but still delivering it to y'all. This is what we
absolutely.
talking about, G?
Yep. So okay. So Zoom. So on the side here where it says displacement typology. So the dark purple is advanced gentrification. All right. So it goes from low income displacement all the way up to what does that say? So unavailable. So high student or unavailable. So the purple, the very dark purple, is advanced gentrification. So can you zoom in for me? Just zoom in, hit the
Yeah,
plus
let's
sign
do
on
it.
the, yep. And we're gonna zoom in.
More?
Yep, keep zooming in to where it should, we should get to the
Oh,
Rhino
yeah.
district. Okay, come out a little bit. Okay, so the Rhino district, y'all see this purple area right here that's highlighted in outlined in red where Mark is? The Rhino
Mhm.
district, that's the 5 Points area. The 5 Points area, the east side area has been gentrified advancedly, meaning it is completely gentrified, right? It's only a few away from being exclusive.
Me, you know,
Which there's no
that's
problem. There's
crazy.
no problem with the east side being exclusive. If it's us, why can't we be exclusive? We can gentrify without integrating, but we're not doing that. We're allowing the gentrification to be integrated, and that's what's killing us as the east side. That's what's taking away the identity of the east side, is the integration, because we can still make the hood a better place and clean it up and make it more high profile, because we have to think of ourselves as high society, high class, high ranking people, because we are
That's
kings and
self-respect.
queens. That is self-respect. That is our title. We are kings and queens. So that we should be living in that type of mannerism. So there's no problem with it being exclusive. But we have to think of ourselves as exclusive instead of thinking as ourselves as low income or at
Man,
risk.
just to speak to that a little, and I know I've said this before, but I stayed on 2222 Marion Street. The house right across from us sold for $50,000 and resold for $750,000.
Preach, preacher.
Come on now. You feel me? I see it all the time. People selling their houses for dirt cheap. Someone coming in and putting up only a few thousand in the house, maybe cleaning it up on the outside, on the
I see
inside
it
a little.
happening right now in Kansas City.
Man, but like, to go from, that's almost, bro, listen, that's crazy. That's almost a robbery. Like, just the fact if they could have held on just a little bit longer and sold it themselves, put the work into it. Like, they missed out on $700,000
All it
just
takes is
because
education.
financial literacy, learning about how that business works. That's why we need more Black realtors, lawyers,
Community.
all that type of stuff. But Young Ack, how you feel about this, man?
Originally, I'm from North Aurora in Colorado. I moved here when I was about 16 to the east side. I was born in the east side, but I moved when I was real young. So majority of my life was actually spent in Aurora. I actually came here basically in the beginning stages of heavy gentrification around like 2015, 2016. You know what I'm saying? And through that, just from my experience, a white man actually taught me about gentrification. I wouldn't know about it if he didn't teach me about it. And when I was taught about gentrification, the biggest and the most important understanding on how gentrification works is property tax. So if you understand how property tax works, basically, long story short, it works in one specific way. Whatever the property values is looking like around your neighborhood, or if there's more food, if there's more stores being established around your neighborhood, that means the property tax around your houses and your homes is gonna change in value. You're gonna see a lot more houses
Absolutely.
be reconstructed, renovated, torn down just to be able to create bigger box houses. Like down the street from where I live, there's like 3 houses that are shaped like SpongeBob's body. It's like weird. Like I ain't never seen that before, but our house looks normal. But it just shows you that when a white man really wants to change something, he ain't nothing stopping him from doing it, bro. It's because we don't
He
understand.
takes it.
Yeah, it's no, there ain't no stopping. That's why
Yeah.
we got to understand true self value. And I think, to be honest with you, I feel like the East Side is at this point in Colorado is already completely gentrified. There's really nothing you can do about it at this moment. But what we could do is wherever they push us next, we could be able to establish some form of financial literacy that allows us to understand, to take advantage of our community and not have it be overtaken by white people. And the reason I know that's possible is because you get Chinatowns all over in different
All
communities.
over.
They got a
Yeah.
shopping center on Mississippi and like Peoria or something like that.
Yep.
Where they got like this whole little area where like Korean shops and all that, right on that little area, and nobody ever be messing with that area. Or you get like a Jewish center down on like Leetsdale, where that King Supers is. They got like a whole little area where they synagogue and all that, where they basically come together as a people and worship their doctrine. You know what I'm saying? You get areas predominantly for like Eastern Africans. But when it comes to our people who were born and basically brought here through the diaspora, we have no form of economic financial literacy to be able to work together as a people. It just is what it is. And until we understand that, this is going to keep happening to us. It's a cycle. You know, the East Side wasn't originally black. Originally, the East Side was Japanese. A lot of people don't even know that. Japanese people used to overrun the East Side. And it was a neighborhood that was given to them prior to World War I and World War II, and they lived in this area, dwelt like there's. You look at pictures in like Manual High School and East High School, like pictures in like 1911. You see a bunch of little Japanese students who were there, but then over time, black people started integrating into this area and took it over and ransacked it, and they moved their asses all the way in like Aurora and areas like that. So it just shows you that there's a cycle when it comes to modern day, I'm not going to call it a slave trade, but the diaspora of separating our people. It's a mass separation that pushes our people. But instead of them whipping us and putting us on chains, they economically destroy us. And so you just like that.
Come on, talk about it. I'm going on.
Yeah.
But hey, that was some gems. I ain't gonna lie.
It was.
Bro,
I can definitely feel a part 2 coming already. But what were you about to say?
Bro, I've studied a lot of history in Colorado, and it's just crazy on how neighborhoods can change in the next 30 years. Like this neighborhood is probably going to be like the modern day Inglewood, Colorado. You know what I'm saying? Or like the modern day Boulder, easily. And it just shows you that they disperse us anywhere we want to go. Anywhere that they choose for us to go because we don't understand how money works, they're going to push us in them areas. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we got to be able to stand our ground and understand that even if your house worth $25,000, which is cheap as hell, that's your net worth, bro. People don't understand. That's your net worth. When people Google your name, that's how much you're worth because property is your net worth. If you own your home, do not sell it by any means necessary unless you got 10 or 15 homes backup that you can be able to rent out to your people. Like straight up, don't sell nothing. Do not sell no property you have when it comes to real estate. That is
and try to own everything. Sell nothing and try to own everything. You should never stop
Exactly.
lying, you know? We definitely gonna have to part two because there's a couple things we didn't get into. But yeah, definitely gonna have to part two because this is just real and it's something that we have to talk about. We gotta try to find solutions to as a community. We gotta figure it out. We have to be able to figure this out because people already don't think that there's Black people in Colorado.
Exactly.
So, you know, we can go to other states. And this is my second state that I've lived in outside of Colorado. People be like, there's Black people there. Like, yes.
You know why that is? It's because not only are we a small population of people,
A
but
very small population.
yeah, not only that, but it's also because as a whole in the Black community in Colorado, there's no sense of integrity. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
there's no identity.
No sense of integrity whatsoever. A brother would easily leave his community to go marry a white girl. Easily. Like at
Quick.
the drop of a dime. Same thing with the sisters. Sisters do that too. It be natural hair, beautiful chocolate sisters I've seen with the corniest looking white boys. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is when you see things like that, you don't really see that. You could go to DC or like down south in Florida, areas like that. You're not gonna really see that as much here. But you see that heavily in Colorado. And you know where else that's heavily prevalent as well, that has a high population of Black folks?
Kansas City.
In the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is very similar to how Colorado works when it comes to the integration of our people, the etiquette on how it works. You see a lot of Black people with white folks that are heavily integrated within white establishment and white colonialism. It's the same thing here. We do the exact same thing where we integrate ourselves into that society. So much so, in fact, we hate ourselves. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
crazy. It's society's normalizing it because you pay attention, like TV commercials and stuff. You're now seeing integrated relationships or couples, and it's becoming normalized. And this is America.
Hey, you know what I
Man.
hate though? When it comes to Asian people and like other ethnicity groups, Arabs, they say respect their culture. You know, honor their culture, respect it. You know why? Because that's their people. You know what I'm saying? And you know they have to be able to stick together. You know that's an honorable that's an honorable action that you can make when it comes to your nation. When it comes to Black folks, respect our culture. Let us stay together. Let us respect our heritage. We say that we just labeled as like racist or
A hate group. We're a hate group.
Yeah.
How is that equality? Do we get asked those questions?
Exactly.
How is that equality? How isn't that separation? Like,
we the only people that can't respect our own culture. We gotta integrate with white folks. What about them?
What about them? Definitely gonna have to part two because this was good, and we're gonna definitely have to finish this conversation. But thank you, Young Activist Club, for coming and joining us on our Guest Speaker Fridays. We love having you. You know, this is all MACultureM family right here. You feel me, MACultureM family?
Yes, indeed.
But with that being said, y'all make sure to follow us on all of our social media sites. And Mark, I'm gonna pass that to you. Okay.
Yes, indeed. All right, bet that. So, like G said, please make sure to follow all of our social media platforms at Make a Chess Move, Make a Culture Move, our virtual artist storytelling. Check out our YouTube at Make a Chess Move MACultureM. Check out our website at www.makeachessmove.org. And then make sure to follow us on Facebook. Our Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest is all MACultureM303. And Young Act, go ahead, shout out your platforms.
Hey, go follow YA Young Activists on all different platforms. Trying to get to, I think, 13K followers on Facebook. So hit us up. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, let's get it. You feel me?
Absolutely. But with that being said, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. With that being said, cop some MACultureM apparel. Y'all MACultureM up there.